This is our home.
This is Silver, a 3rd gen 4Runner. We spent a long time making sure that we got the right car to start with, and we've spent most of this year working on building it out. So we want to show it to you.
Yeah, we're really excited with how it turned out, and so we wanted to give a tour of what our home for a majority of the year looks like.
Come on.
Come on, come on, come look at it.
Come look at it.
Let's go.
So we have a 300-watt solar panel on top. This is really good supplemental energy. We do get a lot of charging off the alternator, but this is really helpful. And then probably the biggest power hog in the car is the Starlink. Outside of cooking, this thing is the most power-hungry thing that we have. This is a high-performance flat panel Starlink, so it works when you're driving down the road. It works without having to change its orientation. This one is amazing. So the back window on the 4Runner rolls down, which is great because we were able to put this insert in. We have fans here, we can turn these on. We have these 3 are our main fans, and then these we only turn on occasionally, which is why they have the screen. But this rain guard protects us from rain, so we can have our ventilation system running even when it's raining. These are our window coverings. They're thick, there's insulation board in here to keep a lot of the heat out. We have these holes at the top, screens to keep the bugs out, but it lets air in. It's sealed all the way around. We have foam so that it makes a nice seal so bugs don't get in because we leave this window down. This allows a lot of ventilation. All right, to add in a ton of storage, we have our box. This is really, like, I gotta give a big shout out to Chris because he made all of this possible. This box mounted to the back of the car. This swing hitch here, now that we finally have it mounted, Chris built all this. We just got it powder coated and picked it up. Got a lock there, a latch to make sure it doesn't swing open if we don't have the lock on. It's mounted directly to the frame, very rigid. On the back of the box, we have your normal trailer lights, license plate light. We have the backup camera, and we even have reverse lights on the back of the box.
And this is our box. It provides so much more storage. So inside the box, we have extra shoes, our clothes, our camping chairs, a yoga mat, some oil and like coolant for the car, and then our kayak. So the kayak is pretty big, the inflatable kayak that we have for river adventures. If we didn't get the box, I don't know that we could bring the kayak places. So thank you, Chris, for all your hard work in giving us extra storage. It just started doing that. It didn't used to do that until this morning. This is our kitchen. We have a fridge. I don't know anything about it. Dustin does, but it's a fridge and it works really nice. Very spacious. We had one other fridge before this, the same kind, and then it quit working after like a year, but we built the bed around this size of fridge. So we're locked into as long as we keep this bed contract with this type of fridge. Underneath here is where we keep our food. And this is our like, kitchen appliance stuff. We have our air fryer, some bowls, seasonings. And then we have lights.
It really shows up at night. Right now you can't see that much, but those
really
lights
bright.
are amazing. We even have lights underneath. So if we're trying to see in the pantry here, we can see.
Yeah. We have this little thing to plug our appliances in. We can put our little stovetop here, our air fryer, cook over here, and we have all this space. Wow!
And don't forget about the jerry can. This is also from Chris. He gave us this. It's really awesome. It has a big ceramic filter, so we can filter water really well while we're on the road.
Sponsored by Chris.
And on the inside of the hatch, we have these fans here that I was talking about. You just click them on. These are the ones that we usually leave on. They're pretty quiet. And we have these big beefy fans on the outside, not so quiet.
Also, do you like the crab?
Yes.
That's my favorite part.
This is sign board, and we knew that would be a good material to make this out of. Thanks to Chris, we knew this. And one of his buddies was able to give us this big, huge sign that said fat crab. And we really liked it. We really liked the crab on a fork. So we were like, that's the centerpiece of the hatch.
Our art.
So we cut around that and made that fit perfectly. We have this cheeky little camera here, along with the backup camera on the back of the box, which lets us know when we're getting too close to stuff. This is more of a rear view mirror. So when this is rolled up and not cut off, we can see really well and see the cars around us. So we have a full-size mattress here. And the reason I say a full one is because I thought I was gonna have to trim it down to make it fit, but this worked perfectly. We were gonna do a tri-fold on the mattress so that this would fold up really easily, but we really like how it folds up already, so we didn't have to do any additional stuff. So let's look at how the bed was constructed, because I really like this. After a lot of brainstorming, conversations with Chris, we decided to go with 30-30 extruded aluminum. The benefit of this stuff right here is that it's super movable. All these pieces, everywhere that it's bolted together, we can readjust this. So a lot was built around this fridge, and it would kind of still be a pain to have to upgrade the fridge because we'd have to cut all these panels, but nothing's permanently welded together. Loosen some screws, move things around, and we could fit a bigger fridge in here. So Chris knows all the right people. He was able to get us some really nice cabinetry wood to go in here. A benefit of this is it's super durable, it looks really nice, and it's not as heavy as, say, plywood. If we had built this whole thing out of plywood, the wood would be a lot heavier. So we have these finger holes here. We can pull things over, shift them however we need. If we need to get further back, say I'm working on the batteries, which recently I was, I can get back there. All right, so in the front seats, there's not as much built out here, but one of the things that we did spend a little too much time in was the head unit. That backup camera on the back of the car, the one on the back of the box, actually connects to this cool head unit, which is quite a technology upgrade from, you know, the stock stuff from a 2002 4Runner. My favorite thing about this whole head unit is this mount here that Chris made. He milled a tube in the center. It's a friction mount, so wherever you put it, it stays. I really love this mount. Unfortunately, these cheap joying head units, although they are feature rich, they are also really prone to glitching, and they have a huge amount of drawbacks. So I'm in the process of completely erasing the head unit. I'm gonna use a tablet to drive all the systems in the car. This will give me a lot more capability, and I'll be able to use any tablet that I want, any apps that I want that are native to those tablets. So Android OS, we'll be able to watch Netflix here and do anything that we want, which is quite an improvement, plus less glitchiness. Hopefully no glitchiness. Another cool thing here is this. This is a wolf box. This thing is an amazing device. I think anyone with an old car should get one of these. I wanted a dash cam. I spent a lot of money on a dash cam, and then I found this. So it works as a dash cam, but it's also a rear view mirror. So you can switch the views around here. So we can see the front cam, both cams together, or the back cam. This is our rear view mirror, and it's really helpful. I can see all the cars behind me and be more aware on the road. I really love this thing. Plus, if I ever get in a wreck and I need to be able to prove that it's not my fault, I have a dash cam.
This is our garage, our extra garage. Actually, this is the garage, huh? I don't know what this is. This is like the closet. The closet, it has our base rigs, just the stuff that we get to pretty often when we're on trips, so we don't have to go back into the box to unlock it.
So as an extra safety measure to give us a little more protection against a smash and grab, we have stuff like this. This is a steel cable that is anchored to the car, and we route it just around some of our more valuable stuff like base rigs and whatnot. It's not super secure, but it'll give us a little extra protection from someone trying to run off with our camera box.
And then come on, let me show you some more. On this side, it has our work laptops, our clothes that we use like for a week. We fill these little squishes up from the box with our clothes that we're gonna wear that week. We call them the squishes. A stitch bag that has like the drone, the GoPro stuff. There's also lights over here, so you can find stuff in the abyss a little bit easier.
So I'm gonna nerd out for a second, but the electrical is a complex system in this car. We saw the solar panel on top, and we also have an alternator that's beefy enough to drive 60 amps of charging back to the 200 amp hours of batteries that we have behind this panel. But behind all the clutter, we have our electronics. Here's a 1000 watt inverter. This is what drives the Starlink and some simpler systems up front. We also have a 2000 watt inverter in the back that drives like the hot plates and the more power hungry things. Next to that, we have the 60 amp DC to DC charger, although we typically leave it at 30 amps to charge off the alternator. This is the main charging source. And next to that, we also have the charge controller. And this is for the 300 watt solar panel on top of the car. Then we have, this is a battery charger. This can be plugged into someone else's 12 volt system or a 110 house outlet or 220 house outlet if we're in another country. So this is like a backup charger in case something happens here, we're not getting enough of what we need. And then we have a fuse panel. Really nice to have all the lights, everything, all the electronics that we looked at that are DC electronics, they go to this fuse panel here. This is mostly for the stuff under the front seat. This goes to this 1000 watt inverter, and we can plug in our laptops, our coffee pots, camera chargers, and whatnot. So Josie is gracious enough to let me have my entire tool bag for on the road. This, we have almost every tool we need to work on the car, as well as some other tools for other projects. All right, so it's pretty tight back here, but here are 200 amp hours, 12 volt system, and a 2000 watt inverter. The cable management is not perfect.
It's a lot better than what it was.
It is safe though, and it is correct. Not much to see here.
And that's our home. That's all. We love it. If you would like to see a more in-depth view on all the nerdy stuff about the car, like the electronics and the solar and the Starlink and all that stuff, Dustin is a super nerd, and he would be overjoyed to make a very, very in-depth video explaining all the nerd stuff.
If you have any questions about this build, or if you're working on your own build, share it with us in the comments below. I would love to chat with you about it. I would love to nerd out.
He would love to. That's all. We're gonna go eat eggs now.
Eggs.
Bye. Bird poop.
Lots of poop on the car. We like the natural feel that it gives the car, so we just let all the birds poop all over the car.
I'm breathing so heavily, I'm worried that when you're talking, you're gonna hear me in the mic going.
Schneedelbutt!
Schneedelbutt's dreading. Welcome to our home.
Welcome to our home.
Our home.
It's our home.
Home on wheels.
It's a car?
It's a car. It
Truck
has a
thing?
bed.
It's got like it's like a truck, but it's got a car.
And a refrigerator for snacks.
Yes, lots of snacks.
That's all you need for a home. Snacks and a bed.
Air fryer?
Air fryer.
That's good for cookies.
For cookies, that's a home. Can you make cookies in it? Then it's a home.
That's how you know. That's how you know you got it. Can you make cookies?
If yes, then you have a home.
Which really, you know, we could probably make cookies somehow with a campfire. So, you know.
That can be a home too.
Campfire can be a home. But this one moves.
It's got wheels.
Campfires moving, that's dangerous. Smokey Bear would not be pleased.
He'd be pissed.
Yeah. So that's why this is.
If bears were real.
Yeah. Well, Smokey Bear's
Fake.
he's fake too.
Bears
Bears
are
aren't
fake?
real.